Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. Trying to play catch up. Single malt Scotch whiskies. This is Glen Moray's Bayside single malt Scotch whiskey, the Elgin Classic as they call it. It used to say on the website age and average of 7 years, but now they're not mentioning that I could tell. But anyway, no age statement is essentially aged in American oak. The Glen Moray distillery was established in 1897. The Elgin Classic, the Classic series, was introduced in 2014. So let's take this out. There it is. Nice bottle. Got it at Walmart for I can't remember, like about, at the time it was like $24.99, $25. The price is going up, but I was pleased with it. Now the Glenlivet Founders Reserve single malt Scotch whiskey, introduced in 2015. Aged in a variety of oak casks, including American first fill. It's got the little foil top. This distillery was established in 1824. 1824. So both in the 1800s, but one in the early and one in the late. I'm getting back to normal, but I got a little ways to go. All right. Like this bottle, like a pot still at the top. Okay. Which one's going to be better? I don't I don't know. I guess it'll be sort of a tie. I was able to tell the Dualcus, Tomat Dualcus, barely, but I was able to tell that one because it had a higher proof. 43% alcohol for the Tomatin and 40 for the Glenlivet. So that proof difference was just the thing that tipped it over this, me being able to tell them apart. But it wasn't too profound. And honestly, I would just shop price. So if I went to Walmart and they had the Glenlivet for 32, Founders Reserve, and they had the Tomatin for 27, I'd just get the Tomatin. Now, the Glenlivet 32 and the Glen Moray, like I said, it was 24, but I think it went up to like 26. Still cheap price. You can check the Walmart website; they'll tell you, but it really wasn't much. Okay, pour a little bit there. The next one I have to do is blended, pure cork, not particle board, but pure cork. The next one I have to do is Chivas Regal Mitsunara. Finally, tomorrow I'll do a solo review, but it won't get posted for a few days. So, but I will plan to do that. I like the Glenlivet new bottle design, color coded at the bottom. You know, different shades of colors. This is the blue, light blue. Now the 12-year age I bought. You'll notice when I get to it, whenever that will be, you'll notice it's the old design. I just wanted to get the old bottle design. I said they got it, so I'll get it. Be something unusual. Need a little bit more, just in case. It's more challenging than I expected, but I expected to be quite challenging, so I don't know how it would be more. I think they're going to be tough. My nose, I still can't smell that well. Really at all, but I did spray some of that Febreze today, and I think I smelled it. I was like, I think I smell this. But then I smelled some Ron Rio rum after work, and I still couldn't smell that. And that's the worst smelling rum ever. You know, you can't forget that aroma. That's just like unforgettable in so many bad ways. So I know my nose is not back My smelling ability is not back to normal if I can't smell the Ron Rio. Ronnie S says, hello, sir. You're getting your taste buds back? Yes, I am. Now, this is the particle board cork. You know, it's like pressed together cork. Not a true hunk of cork. Glen Moray. I went to Taco Bell today. Got the bean burrito, the new bean burrito for $1, and the what is it, bean and rice burrito, and then I got the beef burrito, also $1. They didn't have a whole lot of flavor, but then they normally don't have a whole lot of flavor, so you can't. Those are not a good apparatus for judging if your taste buds are coming back, because they're not too flavorful to start with. So I added the the fire sauce and some black pepper and a little bit of red onion and some greens. And that marginally improved the flavor, but I would not say by any kind of great measure. Is there a champagne review going on tomorrow? Tomorrow night at 7 Eastern is New Year's Eve, champagne and or bubbly sparkling wine, which is the same thing. Champagne is one of those place designated things. Like technically champagne is only supposed to come from Champagne, France. But there are some American. Here's the Glenlivet. It's darker. And the Glen Moray is light. Look, see the Glen Moray, how light it is? And I think I could search around and find where they're saying it's aged about 7 years. And I think it would get that dark after 7 years in the wood. And you say, well, that's really not that dark. Right. So I don't think they're adding color to it. The Glenlivet, I don't know how old it's. It's various different scotches aged of different ages blended together. See, so it's all different kind of age scotch. Some young, some old, some mid-range. So is it going to really be that dark? Could be, I guess. Do they add color in like caramel? I guess they could. Doesn't seem like they did though. Okay, so that's tomorrow night 7. Champagne. I got the Andre Cold Duck. That's what it's called, Cold Duck. Never had it. It's probably fine. It's like red wine. I might bring a little bit of the bubbly tomorrow. Yeah, I went to Walmart and got the Cold Duck, so see how it works out. Yeah, this is a pretty big difference in appearance here. The Glenlivet's definitely darker, so I got to be careful here. Now, if I can't tell them apart, fine, no big deal. I can't tell them apart. But if I'm messing up the taste challenge by glancing and seeing the one that's darker, that's no kind of taste challenge. I got to answer comments. I ran out of time this morning, but I'm going to answer comments in a little bit. And then Robert was saying, this challenge turned out exactly how I thought it was going to. I never got to answer him yet. I was going to say, you mean in the sense that it was sort of like a showdown between two bland products? I think that's what he meant. That is just sort of like an exploration in dullness. I don't think these are bad products. There's a big place for these because I'm sorry about my nose. The complaint with a lot of people when it comes to scotch is they'll say, oh, it's too smoky, it's too peaty. Just strong aromas and flavors just turn me off to no end. But they're not all like that. I mean, a lot of them are, but they're not all like that. Like these two are just going to have a very, very, very low profile bread dough flavor. Just think along the lines of bread dough. They're not going to have a smoky flavor, aroma, or flavor. They're not going to have peatiness, which tastes almost like dirt, like soil compost, which is what it is. They get that stuff out the ground. It's like black, compacted vegetable matter, like you would say compost, and they dry it out to where it's, dry. No moisture, and then they light it in a fireplace and it burns, and they roast the malts with those peat fires in Scotland with some varieties of scotch. Others they don't. So if you don't like that peaty and smokiness, just drink the Glen Moray or the Glenlivet Founders Reserve, and you're never going to encounter that. It's just going to taste and smell like regular old. It could be any type of whiskey, honestly. You know, but it's malt whiskey, not any grain whiskey like corn or stuff like that. All right. Aroma. Well, kind of like nothing. My father was like, "You still sound sick." I was like, "Well, it's all right. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's sort of like on an upslope improvement, but it's not ideal." But then I would just have to, who knows how long these things go on in the wintertime, so I'm not going to just stop doing reviews. I mean, I could. Yeah, the same thing. There isn't a whole lot of aroma, and that's because of my nose. And also because they just don't have a lot of aroma anyway. Even if you have a clear nose, you know what I'm saying? You're not ill, you're not recovering, you have your sense of smell. They're just not going to evidence a whole lot of action. There's not a whole lot of excitement coming in with these. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They're not bad. There's no badness. Okay, taste. It's just bread dough with booze. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 40% alcohol, so you get the fumes of from the alcohol. Like, if you get the ideology or the idea of rubbing alcohol, but yet that would kill you if you drank it because it's made from wood alcohol. But this is barley malt, malted barley alcohol. But I mean, that's it. Simple, simple, simple. It's like the same thing twice. I mean, it's just basic bread dough and that alcohol, you know, feeling. Off, treacherous, bad, strange, weird. No, you might get that with some of the really inexpensive blended Scotch whiskeys like Highland Mist. But I didn't really find Highland Mist had off flavors. It just didn't really have any flavor. But I watched some. I really getting to the point where I cannot stand watching their videos. They just get progressively worse. It's like, why would, it's like becoming unbearable. But these two guys, they real pretentious, let's call it, and irritating. And they think they're funny. They're not funny. They are not funny. There's just like, I've never laughed watching them. I've cringed, you know, in a way. It's like, ooh, wow, you know, why would you? It's like, oh man, it's just so bad. But they were talking about Highland Mist, but they weren't really giving it a real review anyway. They just using it as a vehicle. You know, it was like they were just using it as a vehicle for cheap laughs. The way I looked at it, I was like, you're not being serious about it. You know it's a cheap product anyway. It's like there's no reason for you to have bought this bottle. You're supposed to be like the past masters of whiskey knowledge, this great esoteric Gnostic. You have like some kind of secret doctrine of whiskey knowledge, you know, but yet you're going to do Highland Mist. Oh, great. And then they did Beam's 8-star, and it was the same thing. It was just like, there's no purpose of this video to do a real review. It's all just hijinks. It's like to a vehicle. The product was used as a vehicle to garner like cheap laughs, and I don't know what they were trying to point. What was the point of it? But those and the Beam's 8-star is a blended American blended whiskey, bourbon based or bourbon oriented, and then the Highland Mist is Scotch. But you could run into some strange exotic flavors and aromas with those two items, but with these two here, you're not. There's no off kilter or awry aromas and flavors, but then there's no real compelling thing with them either. So it does make you wonder, like, why would you buy it? And people would say, well, you could do mixed drinks. Yes, you could do that, but then why wouldn't you just buy like Early Times Kentucky whiskey? It's $8.99, and you could do mixed drinks. And look how much money you're going to save. And it's pure whiskey. It's no filler like grain spirits. It's just a bourbon, but they can't call it bourbon because they are aging in used barrels. But beyond that, like, sort of technical issue, it's essential in a practical sense of bourbon. So, but you say, well, no, I want straight bourbon. It's got to be straight bourbon. Well, okay, well then buy McAfee's Benchmark. Just buy a Benchmark bourbon. It's $8.99. Evan Williams, it could be $9.99 for the green label, and you could do all your cocktails, bourbon cocktails. And you wouldn't need to pay $25 or $32 for these. Well, that's the way I see it. I don't like to pay a lot of money for just blandness, Okay. BC says, hi, Ron. Hope you're doing better today. I am a little better. It's marginally better, but it's not worse. Did you start, Bumpy Road says, did you start getting your taste back? You're doing quite a few lives. It has come back a bit, yes. Because it was to where I couldn't taste anything. And now, like I said, I could taste the Werther's Originals. I was eating some of those after eating lunch, and I could taste them, taste the Werther's. I was like, I like these things. And they had more flavor than the two Taco Bell burritos, but then that's not saying much because those things don't have much flavor anyway. I've got Barefoot Bubbly Cuvée for tomorrow. Barefoot Bubbly Cuvée. I don't know anything about that, but hey, join up. I'm glad you're joining. We're only going to be on for an hour and then it's over. Okay. All right, just kind of ho-hum here. They're both fine. I mean, I think this is the Glenlivet. I think the Glenlivet has a little denser flavor. You say, well, flavor, density and flavor are not really compatible. As like density, it's not a flavor. I know it's hard to describe what I mean, but that is what I'm talking about. And then the Glenlivet, the Glen Moray, I think has a lighter flavor, a little more brighter bread dough. So I think I would rather drink the Glen Moray. It's a little brighter, more bready tasting product. And the Glenlivet's a little darker, denser product in the flavor. Plus the Glen Moray's cheaper by a good $8, so why, or at least $6, so why not get it? So I think the Glen Moray Elgin Classic wins today. Next Glen Moray I buy will probably be the 12-year aged. That should be a step up. That'll be, the price is a good step up. Glenlivet already got the 12-year. Got the Founders Reserve here. Got the 12-year aged, unopened. I'll keep looking at that Caribbean. I ain't gonna buy it, but I mean, it is kind of nice priced, but I can't just get everything. I just can't just constantly buy everything, you know. All right, so I'm gonna say this to Glen Moray. If I look and it says G, I'm gonna feel mad because the G stands for Glenlivet, you see. And then I got to make new tags coming up with CR, Chivas Regal, and then the other scotches. Okay, so here we go. It is the Glen Moray. So see, I do have some taste in aroma. No, I don't have that, but I can taste them, and I just think the Glen Moray is a little better. So I don't work for either one of these companies, so I have no dedication to them. So Glen Moray wins. And it's pretty interesting because yesterday the Tomatin won by virtue of having a little stronger alcohol level and gave it a little bit more character. So is the Glenlivet Founders Reserve a failure of a product? Is it like something to avoid? No, I would not say that. Some people have. They like really are hostile to it. I don't know why. Probably because it doesn't have an age statement. But if you read the website, they created it specifically for that reason. They wanted to have a non-age statement Glenlivet like they used to have, they say, when it first started 1824. They didn't even ever have age statements. They would just blend this, blend that, different single malts, and put, there you go. So it just at this point has not won. It only went into 2 taste challenges. It went against Tomatin and it did not win. It went against Glen Moray and did not win. So how's it going to do against the next single malt? Well, the next single malt I'm going to do is the Glenlivet 12-year. I would not expect the non-age statement to beat the 12-year age, but time will tell. I do not know. I have never really put that much emphasis. You know, I did the Glenlivet 12-year at my friend David's house, and they call it the double oak, and it was fine. I liked it. Wasn't anything like remarkable. I was saying it's really good. It's really good. Not exquisite or anything. So I thought it's good enough for me to buy. I'll buy it. You know, so I bought it, and so it'll be Glenlivet 12 versus Tomatin, and then against Glen Moray, and then against its younger brother, the Founders Reserve. And then what'll be the next one coming up following that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe Glenfiddich I keep hearing about. But I'm kind of compelled to buy the Glen Moray 12, tell you the truth. Every time I go to Walmart, I see it in the case, and I'm like, I want to buy it. I love the way the bottle looks. And so. Burley, don't even pay attention to idiocy. Okay, a super dry champagne. Sound like something I would like. My wife told me the wife told me I get a glass and she gets the rest of the bottle. Something about that deal doesn't sound fair. Burley says, you what? Yeah, well, all right. Anyway, so that's it. Glenlivet Founders Reserve loses 2 in a row. Oh, well, too bad. So sad. Not my problem. Definitely not my problem. Beer Hounds, Beer Reviews. Hi, Ron. Hello to you over there. It's about 2:18 in California. It's 4:18 here. So I'm going to go listen to the radio show, unless they're doing a recap. Now, if the lady's saying, now let's go over more of the news stories from 2020. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to that for an hour. I know what the news stories of 2020 were. I don't need a recap. So I'll just turn it off and go back and listen to these beer reviews I'm trying to catch up on. All right. Thanks, everybody. Y'all take care now. And like I said, Glen Moray is the winner. Getting over the, yeah, right.